Fed up NBA fans, self-researched NBA facts here for another video. Okay, this video is specifically going to be about longevity. Longevity in the NBA, how we compare one player to another, how do we define it. There's been a lot of talk of that because recently LeBron James broke Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record, and he also recently got 40,000 points. That isn't so much longevity per se as it is a cumulative stat over more like a career stat, okay? Now, when we're talking longevity, are we saying that a player maintained a certain level for the whole time, like points per game? Are we talking about winning? Both? What are we really saying? LeBron James, for example, was All-NBA in his second year. He was just named All-NBA last year. He squeaked into a third team. Okay, so that covers what? 18 years of All-NBA third team. Okay? Now, when I look at longevity, you can look at it a multitude of ways. Michael Jordan, for example, has been at the longest MVP level of any player in NBA history. And what I mean by that is he won his first one in 1988 and his last one in 1998. That's a 10-year gap. No other player has a gap like that between their first MVP and their last MVP. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was 1971 and 1980, 9 years apart. And he's another one people mention for longevity. Scoring title, Michael Jordan won his first in 1987 and his last one in 1998. That's 11 years apart. The longest gap was Allen Iverson and Wilt Chamberlain was 7 years apart. So again, he's maintaining a scoring title and an MVP level longer than any player in NBA history. Then you look at all defense. He was first team all defense in 1988, and his last first team all defense was 1998. Again, he's playing at a first team all defense level for 10 years apart. There too. So I guess when we say longevity, we're talking LeBron James is averaging 20-some points, but he's not maintaining it on both sides of the ball. He hasn't even been a second team all defense for 10 years since 2014. So he gave up on that a long time ago. His all defense longevity was about 5-6 years. Then it was over. Okay, his scoring title lasted 1 year. His assist title lasted 1 year. His MVPs, he won 4 and 5 years, and then that's it. Done. Are we talking about championships? Well, he won his first in 2012, his last one in 2020. Plenty of players that have won championships with longer spreads. Tim Duncan, 99 to 2014, that's 15-year difference. Kareem, 1971 to 1980, it's a 17-year difference. Another thing also about Michael Jordan's longevity was he got MVP votes at age 39, becoming one of 4 players ever to do that. Tim Duncan, John Stockton, and Kareem were 38 when they were on the MVP ballot. Michael Jordan was 39. As far as I know, he's the oldest player ever to be on the MVP ballot. Last season, LeBron James at age 38 was not on he got no votes for MVP. Okay? So it seems like that aspect of it is run out. So whatever he's doing, it isn't translating necessarily to winning, at least in the regular season. I know they had a run last year. They beat Golden State and Memphis. But what do we mean by longevity? Are we talking about an all-star and all-NBA level because LeBron came right out of high school? It can be interpreted in a lot of different ways. Like I said, I feel like Michael Jordan has a case for longevity as far as at the highest level. First team all defense, MVP, and scoring title. No one has maintained that criteria for that long. Now, if you're talking about playing over 18 or 20 years at an all-star level, okay, maybe. But again, it's subjective. It's all your opinion. What's more impressive? Somebody for 10, 11 years, being the MVP and the scoring champion and first team all defense, or for 18 years being an all-star, with all your all defenses and MVPs being in this little window between 2009 and 2014. After that, LeBron got no MVPs before or after. He got no all defense first or second team before or after. So again, this is all very, very subjective. I'm not ready to concede the longevity point at all. John Stockton was still playing at a very high level. I believe he was 38, still was in the top 5 in assists and steals. I think in number 2 in 3-point percentage. In 39, he was top 10 in assists and steals at 39 years old. And I think he might have been either free throws or 3-point percentage. He was also in the top 10 of that. And he was getting MVP votes at 38 years old. So again, and this is a guy that, he's getting 10 assists every year for a very long time. So again, how do we define longevity? And, what is more impressive? Playing at an all-star level for 18 years, 15 years, or somebody who's playing at a, top 5 or even all the way MVP type level. Like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was Finals MVP in 71. He was Finals MVP in 85. That's definitely the longest gap between your first and last Finals MVP. So when you say longevity, what are we talking about here? Because I think there's several players who have a longevity argument. I think Karl Malone does. I think John Stockton, Tim Duncan, Kareem, Michael Jordan. Plenty of players that were playing well, later in their careers. And I think the reason why LeBron James is getting all this is because people just see his points per game, his stats on the offense. His defense is non-existent. He was rated like 200 and something in his defensive rating last season. So he's practically a liability on defense now. So you're saying he's playing at an offensive all-star level for 18, 19 years? What are we saying here? Again, it's up to each person to decide. I just made a case why I think that Michael Jordan's longevity is more impressive because he was at a higher level, the highest level for longer. LeBron had this window from 09 to 14 where he had all his all defenses, all his MVPs, and 2 of his 4 championships. And, that's his peak. It was a very small, short peak then, if that's what we're saying. So, anyway, hope you guys liked this video. I got a lot more to go. People don't talk about these kinds of things. The only reason I did this, some other content creators said, you got to get that information out there because I'm saying things that nobody else talks about. Nobody else is realizing, nobody else even thinking about. And that's what I wanted to put out there. I wanted some kind of a platform to kind of talk back about it. You listen to Nick Wright and all them? Okay.